All right, this is Module 4, Lesson 13. We're going to be talking about simple interest today. To find simple interest, we're going to use the following formula. Right here it says interest equals principal times rate times time. We can shorten that formula to P for principal, R for rate, T for time, or this one is even the best. I equals PRT. I like to say I party. Couple things that we have to know is that the P is the principal. That is the amount that you invest or you borrow. So somebody might put that much money into the bank, or they might borrow money to buy a car or a house. That would be the principal. The rate is going to be the percentage, but you have to write the percentage as a decimal. Now, remember from 6th grade, you have to move the decimal place over 2 spots to make it from a percent to a decimal. Time always has to be in years. All right, so we're going to use this formula to figure out how much interest somebody would earn by investing their money or borrowing money from either a bank or a credit union, something like that. So Larry invests $100 in a savings plan, and the plan pays 4.5% in interest each year on his $100 account balance. So how much will he earn after 3 years? So let's look at 3 years first. We're going to use the formula I equals PRT. Now, before we do this, let's go to the side and say, what is I? What is P? What is R? What is T? So the interest is how much interest he is earning, which we don't know. We're going to call that X. The P stands for how much he is investing. In this case is $100. Now the rate is 4.5%, but we have to write that as a decimal. Remember, that's the same thing as saying 4.5%. So I'm going to move it over 2 times, which would give us 0.045. The last thing is time. Time would be 3 years in this case. Remember, it has to be in years. I'm going to actually move this formula over since I just wrote there. So let's do I equals PRT. Now we don't know the interest. That's our X. The principal is $100. The rate is 0.045. And time is 3 years. So you're going to take your calculator, you're going to multiply all of that. 100 times 0.045 times 3 gives us 13.5. Now remember, this is talking about money, so we have to add that 0. It's $13.50. That would be after 3 years. So now let's do 5 years. So I equals PRT. So I is what we're trying to find. P is the principal that was invested, $100. R is still 0.045. The rate has not changed. And this time, the time is 5. So in our formula, we're going to do 100 times 0.045 times 5. So 100 times 0.045 times 5 gives us 22.5. But remember, it's money. So put a 0 on the end of that. Now, part B says, how can you find the balance of Larry's account at the end of 5 years? Now, balance is different than interest. Balance means how much money does he have in the bank. Remember, he started with $100. After 5 years, he gained $22.50 in interest. So his total account would be at $122.50, assuming that he put no more money in. All right, next page. I want you to pause this video right now and try exercise 1 on your own. When you're done, go ahead and press play and see if your answer is correct. All right, so we're talking about interest. I equals, P equals, R equals, T equals. So the amount of interest is X. The principal is $500. The rate is 7.5%. Move it over twice is 0.075. Time is 10 years. So I equals PRT. Principal rate and time. So 500 times 0.075 times 10 gives us $375. Now it's asking for the balance, not the interest. So he started with 500. He added $375. Did I do that right? I did. Okay. Which is equal to $875. All right, example number 2. All right, this says a $1,000 savings bond earns simple interest at the rate of 3% each year. So the interest is paid at the end of every month. How much interest will the bond have earned after 3 months? All right, so let's start off with IPRT. Interest is what we don't know. It's a $1,000 savings bond at 3%. Now 3%, move it over twice, would be 0.03. Now it's not 3 years, so we can't put 3 as the T. It's 3 months. 3 months is less than a year. Well, since there's 12 total months in a year, we're talking 3/12 of a year, which is the same thing as 1/4 of a year. So I equals PRT. I, principal is 1,000. Rate is 0.03. Time is 1/4. So 1,000 times 0.03 times 1/4 gives us 7.5, but it is money, so we're talking $7.50. Now this one's not asking for the balance, it's just asking for the interest. All right, next page, example 3. All right, Mrs. Williams wants to know how long it will take an investment of $450 to earn $200 in interest if the yearly interest rate is 6.5%. All right, so we have I equals P equals R equals T equals. All right, so in this problem, we actually do know the amount of interest. It tells us that it was $200 they're earning. The principal is how much they invest, or $450. The rate is going to be 6.5%, which is the same thing as 0.065. And time will be our X, because that is what we don't know. We're trying to figure out how long it will take. All right, so let's do I equals PRT. Interest is 200. Principal is 450. Rate is 0.065, and T is our X. Now, before we start solving this, we can actually simplify because we know this means multiplication. So let's take our calculator and multiply those two numbers together. When I do that, I get 29.25. Everything else can just stay the same. Just do that multiplication. Now, when you have a number next to a letter in an equation, that means to multiply. So the opposite would be to divide both sides by 29.25. So you're left with X equals, so 200 divided by 29.25 gives us 6.837606838. So we are talking about years, and it says about how long. So we're going to say about 7 years. All right, once again, go ahead and pause the video as you complete exercise 2 on your own. When you're done, go ahead and press play and see if you are correct. All right, here is exercise 2. So we're going to do I equals, P equals, R equals, T equals. So it's a $1,500 loan. Interest rate is 4.25%. Remember, that's the same thing as 4.25%. So move it over twice. That's 0.0425. It says how much time. So that's our X. And the interest is now $127.50. So I equals PRT. 127.50 on a $1,500 principal at 0.0425 rate, and X is our time. So 1,500 times 0.0425 gives us 63.75. Divide both by 63.75. So 127.50 divided by 63.75 gives us 2. So that would be 2 years. All right, so the next page here, this is your problem set. Go ahead and try those, and we will go over them tomorrow in class.